And welcome everybody to Pulp Audio, the show where middle-aged geeks get together and talk about crap they like. I'm Wesley.
I'm Bob.
I'm Sam.
We played Rimworld.
I didn't.
No.
Me possibly more than Bob?
Or, yeah, I kind of reached the end, and unlike Wesley, I just reached the end.
You just stopped?
Yeah.
I have this weird dichotomy going on. I have a YouTube series that I started before I had ever won a game. And it's difficult to do this YouTube series because the game itself I don't think works very well as a YouTube series because there's a lot of planning things out with the game paused and setting, bills and orders and, deciding things, and that can get boring pretty quick. And then there's this huge battle where you then spend the game paused as you're ordering people around and then, things like that. So I decided to just record everything I do and then go through and make notes. And actually not even notes. I go through and write a script and then read the script and then edit the clips out into little 10-second blurbs, paste them into the video, and then chop out all the places where I wasn't talking and put it together. So
it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. And it turns out I play about maybe 2 hours, hour and a half, and then I watch it all again and do my notes, which takes probably about 3 times as long to do it. And then I record it, which takes about 20, 30 minutes. And then I do the editing, which takes another 3 hours. So I end up, for every 2 hours I play, I end up spending about 10 hours of stuff making a 20-minute episode. So that takes a long time.
So
However,
I figured out where you can get some Stargate time so we can finish our series. We only have 3 seasons left.
But I would rather do this than Stargate.
Stargate!
I know, but it's fun. But no, here's what's cool about that. Okay, I have started many games of Rimworld. I have lost many games of Rimworld, and I've won a few games of Rimworld now. I literally can't tell you by the second or third year who started in that game.
Oh, yeah?
Like who my starting colonists were. I don't know their names. I have no freaking clue who's who. Because I order my people at the top based on all the ranged people are on the left, all the armed the people who use swords are on the right, and then the people who can't fight are way to the right. And so once I change that order, I don't remember who's who. It doesn't matter. This series, I know everybody. I know them by name. Yeah. I know their preferences. I know who they like, who they don't like, what weapon to use with them. I know who the medic is. I know when people come to trade, I know who to send out to trade with them. I know all that about this, and it's great because this is an actual colony of people. This isn't just this video game thing that I made. So I'm loving it, and I really like that because this is really kind of what the game is for, is to do this kind of thing. I never did it. But that said, I started this before I knew, before I had even experienced the end of the game.
Right.
And since then, I've won the game, I think, 3 times now. Maybe 4. No, it's 4. Because I won on whatever the easiest mode is. That's not base builder mode or creative mode or whatever.
Right.
The easiest mode that you could lose in. And then I bumped it up to it starts with an F, but it's frenetic or something like that mode. And I won in that, and then I played in Savage mode. And Savage mode is as hard as it gets. No, Ruthless is the other one. Ruthless is the one that I was comfortable at. Savage mode is you have to play perfect and you could still lose.
Yeah.
And then Merciless is the one beyond that where even if you play perfect, you're gonna lose. Unless something goes perfectly right. Unless everything goes perfectly right, or you studied the source code to figure out exactly what to do, or not even what to do, but exactly how to game the system perfectly, which people have done and things like that. But what I wanted to do was, people were complaining, and I've even done it, about some of the traits are so bad that somebody shows up with those traits, you just put a bullet in their head and kick them in the river.
Don't want you. I'm going to harvest your kidneys.
Exactly. Yes. Come over here. Come into the war crimes room, and I'm going to pull a kidney, a lung. Let's see. What else can I take without you dying? And then I'm going to take either your heart or your liver, or your stomach. Never done that before.
You can make a bionic stomach.
Yes. You can make a bionic stomach, but I'm not going to put it in a dude. I'm going to kick to the side. But So what I do is...
I'm saying I don't harvest stomachs because I can make.
Because you can make a bionic stomach. Gotcha. Okay. No, because bionic stomachs are too expensive though, and wealth of your colony affects the size of the raids. But anyway, so people complain about these traits consistently. The gourmand trait, which it sounds fancy,
sure.
but really a gourmand is not a gourmet. A gourmand is a person
who wants fancy food,
likes to eat a lot.
Right.
I mean that's actually what a gourmand is.
Right,
But that's one of the worst traits because they eat like twice as much food, and their mental break is eat more food.
Right.
So like one of the hardest things to do in this game is keep food, and they eat it all. Pyromaniac, terrible trait. Chemical fascination, horrible trait. Yep. Because even if you keep all the drugs in your colony out, as soon as raiders show up, you kill them all, and the guy with chemical fascination is going to go and grab the worst thing that they dropped on the ground and take it, and then get addicted.
What's Luciferium?
Yeah, well, I think I'll try it. So I got the 6 worst traits. I ranked them all, and I found the 6 worst ones, and I downloaded a mod that lets you set up what your colonists are, and I gave each one of them 2 of those traits. And then I started the colony with those 3 people, and my goal was I would not accept any new people except people who have one of those 6 traits. Oh my God. And I played it on Fearless. And I won.
Nice.
And it was my first one on Fearless. Now, it was a close call.
Yeah.
Here's the 2 things that happened that made it work. I accidentally...
On purpose.
No, accidentally.
Okay.
Fully accidentally. So you built the ship, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When you build the ship, you have to build, like, an engine. Or no, we have to build, like, a power supply, 3 engines, some they call them crypto sleep caskets, but it's these freeze chambers. You put your people in, they freeze, and then you can send them in space. You need a sensor cluster, you need a AI core, and you need one other thing. I can't remember what it is. Doesn't really matter. Actually, no. Maybe it is just those 2 things, and then the big center thing, which is the thing. So I put the AI core thing on the blueprint thing, and then accidentally queued up a second one instead of the sensor cluster. They're the same size though, and they look the same because they're just squares, right? They don't look the same once they're built, but they look the same as a blueprint. So, and plus you only make one ship a game, so I've only seen this thing like 3 or 4 times. So it's like I don't know what they look like by sight. So they built it, and then they weren't building the second thing. And I was like, why aren't you building the second thing? So I check and see what it is. Like, oh, it's the AI core. Maybe, like, I know I had one. I remember getting it. Maybe somebody had a tantrum, because, these people are totally just terrible humans, and they're constantly breaking down and breaking shit. It's like, they must have broken it. I guess I gotta go get another one. So I called my friends, and I'm like, where's the nearest AI core? And they're like, it's over here. So I go and get it, bring it back, build it, and then I'm like, those 2 things look the same. I built a second AI core on my spaceship. So then I built a sensor cluster. The final battle,
they take out one of the AI.
One of them got taken out, and it would have ended, the spaceship would have just broken. Like, boom, you're done. But no, because I had 2, I had a backup. Nice. Because accidentally I had redundancy. The one thing they broke, I had redundancy on. And therefore, I was able to go.
You were able to win.
Now, the other thing that happened, though, is every single person in the colony died except the pyromaniac 5 days before the ship had to launch. So the one guy who can't fight fires had to survive constant raids, including the guys who lob fire over your walls. Not one of those hit the ship for 5 days, and he couldn't fight him. He just sat in just waiting for this, like. Okay, got 4 days now. Let's go. And the hilarious thing that happened, here's why he lived, was the guys were lobbing fireballs over the thing, and people showed up to trade. And they showed up right there on that side of the map, and they walked in like, hey, you want to buy some of our... And then they're good guys, and the other guys are bad guys. So they fought each other, and they just kicked each other's ass. And then the timer went off, and he hopped in the ship and took a bye. But you know what? That's a win. I don't care. That's a win on Fearless mode.
It's a Browns win.
Yes, that's a Browns win. Yeah, in overtime. So yeah, that was a great win. The other win I had was the other Fearless win I had was somebody posted how to win on Merciless every time. It's so easy to beat Merciless. All you got to do is this. I'm like, okay, it can't be that easy. So I'm like, I'm still not willing to play in Merciless because even then you have to do all this cheesy stuff. So I'm like, I'll play it in Fearless. And the trick is, don't ever get anything that's worth any money.
Right.
Literally don't.
Just let them come at you with sticks.
Yeah, because if you don't ever have anything worth money, they don't bring anything worth money. And what I did was I actually tried to research up to the spaceship and build it, but I was getting to the point where they were actually getting too good because I had like this really nice high quality station to do science on that I could do the ship. So I'm like, fuck it. So I just packed up and did the trek over to the ship, built 3, because I had 3 people, 3 1x2 bedrooms with a bed in them and a kitchen, and that was it. That was all I had. And I had nothing else. I couldn't make clothes, I couldn't make guns, I couldn't do anything. And the raids were so ridiculously stupid. I just put a wall around it and then put like 5 steel traps, and I just kept building more steel traps, and every time they tripped one, I'd take one of the ones I had pre-built and slap it in place in the hallway that led into the base. And and I won. It was quite easy. But before I gave up on the other base and did the trek, it was getting hard to defend the base with, like crappy, machine pistols and shit like that. So I don't think that it's quite as much of a cheesy cheat as this person thinks it is. I think he's really good.
Right.
And also knows this trick.
Yeah.
I think if he used his good strategies on a regular game, he would probably do just as well.
Right.
I think. But that's just my opinion. But it's still a fun game. Yeah. And I'm still playing it. And Albert, Kaylee, Forex, Beverly, the new people I don't know offhand, Feed On, and it's not Kimmy, but it's something like Yakuku.
Kimmy? Oh.
Yakuku is the 6th member of my team, and I think there's one more that I missed, but I'm not going to go through the names again. Like I know them all. I know who's who. I know who likes who and everything. It's fantastic. Albert was a misogynist, and Hermione was a crash landed person who crashed next to him, and she was a misandrist, which is great.
You got to get these two together.
Yes. Kaylee was the first person to show up after that. She was Albert's ex-girlfriend. And I accepted her to Kaylee merely because of that. Right. so that's awesome. The first 3 people, just all of them hated each other. It was fantastic.
That's interesting, because I actually do know all my colonists.
I never do. I never do. I know like 1 or 2 of them, but they're never the original ones. I end up Vance. I still remember Vance, the guy who ended up dying because they ate his head. Right. And I was going to use my resurrection serum on him, but they ate his head.
There's nothing to resurrect. I did 1 victory finally, and I'm kind of like, now what? And so my wife is also playing, and she's just making her own victory conditions. Yeah, because building the ship is stupid. Yeah, and
especially for tribals, it's like, why do they want off the planet? It doesn't make any sense.
I built home. Why? Like going into space in a cryosleep casket is not better.
We're eating lavish meals. Right. I've got this great leather chair in front of his TV that's like 16 feet wide.
I've got defenses. Nobody can crack them.
Nobody can touch them. Like, why would I want to?
Why would I make this harder on myself? Yeah. But the last game I started was the Naked and Afraid one, where there's one dude shows up with nothing.
That's another thing I have to talk about. Tell me yours.
And he's a 16-year-old boy, and his name is Ludo. And so I named his colony the Followers of Ludo, and he's a cult leader. As people join the cult, and now there's like 20 of them, And they've actually split it into 2. And his entire goal is to get to this tropical island on the other side of the map. Okay. And so his cult is sending him there. And I thought this was going to be fun, but it's actually turning into a lot of drudgery, because
you have to show up at a new place and make a...
You've got to show up at a new place, make a colony that can sustain 20 people.
Right.
And then move 20 people and their crap there.
And then give up on the last one that you spent all your time on. Yeah, that's why moving 3 people is a lot better than moving 20 people.
So I've got the second colony built as far as I can lob them with the launchers. And it's like I'm daunted by the prospect of even doing it again, so I kind of fizzled out on that.
Yeah, and don't dare send all 20 of them at the same time, because they'll show up and they'll just all mental break at the same time, because I don't have a bed. Oh my god! Yeah. It's like, you just got here. Give me 5 fucking seconds to build you a goddamn bed.
I brought you the material.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the naked brutality thing, because I actually made a mod for this. It was you can make scenarios very easily in the game. You can actually make them in the game and then upload them to Steam, to Steam. But like that wasn't enough for me because I wanted to make the naked brutality harder by removing all research. And you can't just do that. You can add research, but you can't remove it. So I made a new, like you can have the tribals or the outlanders or whatever they're called, the space people, and you're one of those too when you start. And the tribals have different research than the space people. So I went in and I looked at the XML files and I figured out what they do. So I made my own class of people, the Golgafrinchums. And I made the whole thing for it is you are a bee archer for the Golgafrinchums.
You can send obviously telephones, but that's about it.
Exactly. So you land naked and afraid on the planet, and you literally you can't make food. you can't make a cooler. If you have a heat wave, you lost the game. Like you have to. Your first goal is to get a research bench up and running, so that you can research how to cool your room down.
We have to know whether you want fire that's fitted.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's fun, and I actually just won a game where I started with 3 of those because I made the three or the 2 that a lot of people play, the 3 people who crash land or the naked brutality one. So I made those ones and I beat the 3 one, and then I'm going to start a naked brutality one that's going to be the next one I play. But yeah, I kind of agree with you though. I feel like I've kind of gotten the most out of it. So I think after I do that one Golgafrinchum naked brutality one, I'm going to just do my YouTube series only and only.
One thing I wanted to mention too about the naked brutality one is it's only different for the first season.
Yes, it's only different until you get clothes and stuff. Yeah. It's the same, but it's that first season.
That first season was more intense,
and it can be pretty crazy. Yeah. And I've also kind of want to do an ice sheet one because I've never done that. Like I've been pretty far north. Like I've had really harsh winters, but I've never had one where it's always winter.
Right.
And like nothing grows, and you can't have plants outside and things like that. So, excuse me. Anyway, Rimworld. Obviously, we like the game.
Yep.
And that's it. If you want to send us an email like Crazy Nutso did, you can send an email to pulpaudioweekly@gmail.com.
Or you can call us on the Yak line. That's 216-YAK-GAMES or 216-925-4263.
7. Or you could send us a tweet on Twitter at pulpaudio.com.
And if you want to check us out on YouTube, go to HMV Plays on YouTube and look for us there. And my other stuff too.
And we have a website at pulpaudio.com.
And until next time, I'm Wesley.
I'm Bob.
I'm Sam.
And all together we are
Pulp Audio.